Hello, 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 and welcome back to Imperfectly Perfect Narcoleptic. So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to answer some questions today. So, the first question is, can you drive? Yes, I can drive. Now, with that being said, there's a little backstory to that, right? As always. Um, so, prior to being diagnosed, I would get in the car and let's say drive to Jersey. I used to drive to Jersey a lot back when, right? Um, and I would remember getting on the highway to drive, and the next thing I know, I would be there. What would happen is I would fall asleep, but my eyes would still be open, so I would go into automatic behavior, where my subconscious knew how to get back to Jersey, so I was able to drive without getting into a car accident or anything like that. Since being diagnosed, I can still drive, but I have to be medicated and I have a 20-minute limit. So whenever wherever I am going, I have to usually try and see to make sure that there's stops that I can make every 20 minutes, try and see that how traffic is, etc., etc. So it definitely takes me a lot longer now to get to places. There's a lot of planning when it comes to it. Going grocery shopping and stuff like that. Everything is within like 5-6 minutes away, so that makes it a little easier. But whenever I do have to go out of town, it makes it a little bit more difficult because again, I have to plan ahead. Um, the second, how does this affect you with your children? Well, it's very difficult. My kids are very understanding, thank God. Two of them, as I've said before, have narcolepsy with cataplexy, and the other two have sleep apnea. So we all have some type of issue when it comes to sleep. So nights are very interesting, is what I like to say, right? Because of the fact that, every single night is different. Every single night, one, two, or all of us can be awake at the same time. They've learned that when mom says she's tired, she needs to take a nap, they know that that means I need to take a nap. Then they know that that means that I need my rest. And in order for me to function, in order for me to do the things that I need to do with them or for them, I need to get that rest, right? It was funny one year, one of my children, one of the three youngest one, missed the bus. And I wasn't picking them up from the bus stop that day. My sister was. And the principal was going to call me. And he goes and he tells her, no, 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 don't call my mommy because she's sleeping today. Titi picks us up. So call my Titi and tell her I missed the bus because mommy's sleeping. So it's funny because they picked it up very early, right? I was always open with them. I was always honest with them because, again, as a single mom, we all have to be on the same page, right? The children have to be on the same page with me. They understand, again, if I don't get enough rest, how that affects me physically, emotionally, mentally, as well of how it affects the things that I can and cannot do with them. So on that behalf, they're very understanding. The two that do not have narcolepsy have are very understanding about my condition as well as their siblings, right? The two that do have it. I feel that at times, I'm not gonna lie, they can take advantage of it because again, they know that I'm either sleeping, so they may stay on their electronics a little longer, etc. But for the most part, they're pretty good with it. So the next question, when did it start? Well, this is something that has been with me my entire life. The breakdown of it is posted. On videos. I'll put the links for those videos that have been already published on the description of this video, so you guys can go ahead and watch that. Does it feel like you're getting tired, or you just pass out? Well, it doesn't feel like I'm getting tired. I wake up feeling tired. So one of the things that I read at the beginning from being diagnosed, which makes total sense, is take a person without narcolepsy, have them stay up for 48 hours without any stimulants. So no coffee, no caffeine, no anything, and then have them go without throughout their day, like how exhausted they feel. Well, that is how we feel, or how people with narcolepsy feel just starting their day. That is our baseline. So when we say we're tired, I feel that somebody that doesn't have narcolepsy really can't grasp that, because we're really literally like at our last straw, right? We are at that point where we're giving it all that we literally have, to just get things done. And it gets very difficult because of the fact that, it makes it very hard to plan ahead. It makes it very hard to commit to things, because I can be feeling good today, but I don't know how I'm going to be feeling tomorrow or a week from now. Now, do I have moments where I have sleep attacks, right? Where I can be watching TV, or I can be in a waiting room, or I can be helping the kids with their homework, or I can just be reading, and next thing I know, I'm like literally jolting up, waking up and realizing, oh shoot, I've been sleeping for like the past 5 or 10 minutes. Yes, that happens. I haven't had any sleep attacks of that nature anyways when I am driving, thank God. I've had them more when I used to have them a lot more before I stopped working, just because, again, I was pushing my body too much. I was doing way too much, more than what I was supposed to be doing. So it's definitely a challenge. There is no routine, or no rituals, or no, how can I put it this way? There is no chronological order, let's put it this way, in the way things happen, right? There's one day that I can go an entire day without having cataplexy, without having sleep paralysis, without having anything, and it's like, quote unquote, I'm normal, I don't have narcolepsy, right? And then I have days where everything comes in at once. So it's definitely those things that, because it's so unpredictable, excuse me, it makes it very difficult to do the normal things that people would normally do, right? So it's definitely a challenge in itself. But as I always say, we have to keep it positive. We have to keep on moving forward. And again, you'll see in the videos previous to this, where you will see me crying, you will see me in pain, you will see me in all of these things. And it's not that, yes, a lot of the symptoms have resolved themselves, let's put it this way, from me learning to listen to my body, and me getting to a place where I am forcing myself to rest, right? Whether that is sleeping or just laying in bed and doing nothing. So a lot of the physical aspect of it, as far as like the pain and things like that, have gotten a lot better. But the other things I still deal with almost on a daily basis. And then the last question for this segment is, are you able to cook? And it's kind of funny, because I posted about a week ago or so on Instagram and Facebook, of myself cooking, and I was literally standing right in front of the stove, because I'm a multitasker. I like to do more than one thing at a time, and I've always been like that. But unfortunately, with it's not that it's not that the condition progresses in itself. It is just, the longer you go without rest, the longer you go without sleep, the more the symptoms kind of come on, right? So it's not that narcolepsy is getting worse, it's just the symptoms of narcolepsy gets worse, right? I hope that makes sense. So I still cook. I tend to cook in bulks. So I like to cook for at least a day, like for at least 2 or 3 days if I can. And the reason for that, and I don't mean that I cook everything through. Sometimes I just pre-make certain things, like prep. Like I'll season my chicken. I'll have beans already cooked, and then I freeze them and things like that, just so that when I have those days when I literally cannot get out of bed, or I can't literally cook, being standing in front of the stove the entire time, then the kids are able to like preheat something or something like that, so that they can still have cooked meals every day, right? Of course, that doesn't always happen. I can have an entire week where I literally cannot stand in front of a stove, right? Because I'm so exhausted. So, we manage, right? But there is this sense that when I am cooking, I do stay in the kitchen. I stay right in front of the stove. I have timers, the stove timer. I have phone timers timers on my phone and things like that, because I could be cooking, and it's happened in the past where I would come to the room and sit down in the bed, and then next thing I know, the fire alarm is waking me up because I'm starting a small fire in the kitchen, right? Because I'm either burning the beans, burning the rice, burning something, right? Burning something in the oven. So there's definitely precautions that I need to take when it comes to cooking. I've burned myself so many times, and it has nothing to do with being sleepy. It's more of the perception, right? Your perception of where things are tend to be a little bit off when you're exhausted, as well as cooking while I'm sleeping, but because my eyes are again open, people don't realize that I'm sleeping, right? And I can miss where it is at the range of the stove or the oven is. So I always make sure that I do a lot of my cooking early on in the day when I feel that I have the most energy. And sometimes, I'll be cooking in the middle of the night. If I wake up and it's like 1 in the morning and I cannot get myself back to sleep and I feel alert and awake enough to do so, then I'll start meal prepping and I'll start cooking. So it's definitely a different dynamic. Definitely I would love to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day fresh, but unfortunately it is not the truth, right? It's not what can actually happen at this point anyways. But I used to meal prep a lot when I used to work anyways. I used to meal prep for myself as well as for the kids. So in that dynamic, a lot of the things haven't changed. It is just I have to make sure that I am fully awake and alert to a certain extent, right? Sometimes I would have to medicate in order to be able to keep my physical body awake enough to get through a cooking session, right? So again, I do tend to prep a lot, right? Like I prep my vegetables, I prep my fruits. I prep everything and kind of have everything ready to go. So that this way, if mom can't get out of bed, if mom can't cook today, they still have the food that they need. Well, guys, that is all that I have for you for today. As always, thank you for all the love and support. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Sending every single one of you love, strength, and blessing, guys. Take care. Bye bye. Love you guys.